Welcome back to the Grow Your Nutrition Business podcast. At Healthy Steps Nutrition, we believe something as fundamental as nutrition shouldn't be complicated, which is why we focus on a simple, habit-based approach. We help gym owners and coaches build successful nutrition programs without reinventing the wheel. I'm your host, Nicole Coyne, registered dietitian and founder of Healthy Steps Nutrition, CrossFit HSN, and HSN Mentoring. I'm also the author of The Basics of Nutrition Coaching CrossFit Preferred Nutrition course. I'm going to teach you how to take one step at a time to building a successful nutrition program where you finally feel confident talking about nutrition to your members and your communities. Today, we have Jay from Strongbody Fitness on the podcast. He just launched his nutrition program, but he is so many steps further than most gym owners. And today we are going to talk about why. He is able to speak from experience. He signed up as a nutrition client of Healthy Steps Nutrition HQ. He's learning as he's going through the mentoring program how to implement the program, but he's seeing it play out from a client's perspective every step of the way. You might be thinking, Nicole, why is that important? Well, let's be honest, it is so much easier to speak from experience. Let me give you another example. I've been doing CrossFit since 2010. It's really the only type of fitness I've done, minus a Peloton class or two when I was staying at a Marriott for some type of work event. There are many different types of fitness out there. Many of them will work, but it's so much easier for me to explain how CrossFit will help someone achieve their goals. I can speak from experience. If you were to ask me how to do Orange Theory or why the Orange Theory down the street would be great for you, I would do a terrible job explaining. I've never done it. I personally don't know. My authenticity is lacking because I've never done it. It would be a terrible idea for Orange Theory to hire me for sales because I don't know. I can't speak from experience. But when it comes to selling our nutrition program, we don't think about it like that. Owners think they can sell nutrition or build a successful nutrition program because they know it's what their client needs, but they don't really understand how it will help. The people doing free intros might breeze over the conversation of nutrition, but they don't really stress the importance of nutrition because they can't speak from experience. Let's be honest, you're going to avoid a conversation if you don't know the answer. You'd rather just sell them on something that you know can help them, like CrossFit. Today, we are talking to Jay, and I'm so excited because I hope that this inspires gym owners and coaches to rethink what you are doing yourself to better speak from experience. He signed up with nutrition coaching from us about the same time that he signed up for mentoring. But it's so easy for him to talk from experience because he's gone through it himself. He understands the value. This is so important because honestly, his nutrition program was completely different before he went through our training to now. He used to do strict macros and now they're really focusing on a habit-based approach, and he understands how this will help his clients. We will get to this episode with Jay right after this message. HSN Mentoring is a turnkey solution to save you time and not reinvent the wheel when it comes to building a nutrition program from scratch. HSN Mentoring starts with a training process that includes online modules, homework, and 6 mentoring calls to help you apply all the information that you're learning in the online modules and the homework. The training teaches you how to set up a nutrition program, how to market your nutrition program, how to coach clients using a habit-based approach, and most importantly, how to retain them. Last, we talk about how to run a successful challenge and, most importantly, how to convert those people to ongoing coaching so you can support them long after the challenge is over. Getting started is easy. Click the link in the show notes and you can book a free call with me and even find out how it works with HSN. You can get your program up and running in as little as 4 to 6 weeks. Enjoy this episode with Jay from Strongbody Fitness. Jay Soileau, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks so much. Glad to be here.
Well, first, congratulations is in order. You guys are in the last stage today of the training process to get your nutrition program up and running. So congratulations. You are officially almost done with the training as of in a couple hours.
Thanks. It's been great.
Awesome. One of the things that I'm hoping can come out of this podcast today is you're a gym owner. You own Strongbody Fitness, and we've had conversations before you guys signed up with nutrition. You understand the importance of nutrition and helping your clients achieve their goals. And you are so bought into your nutrition program from an owner standpoint, but also as a client standpoint. You're a nutrition client of HSN HQ.
Yeah. So you finally put that together? Yeah, it's been awesome. So this is like, I've battled like a lot of gym owners, I think, with really understanding that nutrition should be the key component to helping people transform their lives, but it's so hard to deliver. And so we've gone back and forth, and I've been following you for quite some time too, and just kind of watching you guys grow and evolve with your coaching program and what you guys are doing. But timing just wasn't right. And so we did, I think, like what a lot of gym owners do is you just try to figure it out, put together all these different types of programs. And the deliverable is very, very difficult and has been really inconsistent with us. And so we keep getting to this place where we're like, can we really do this? Like, can we really, does it make sense? Maybe we don't offer nutrition. And then I go, well, no, that doesn't align with who we want to be. And so we've got to figure it out. So anyway, that has been our evolution. And I'm glad we finally found you guys to solve this problem.
Awesome. Well, I remember us talking on a free call, and you said, delivering a professional experience was really important to you. And Kara, you have an amazing nutrition coach who was doing an awesome job. You had a nutrition coaching program, but it kind of had fizzled out because she had a baby, right?
Yep.
And you were kind of taking on some things, but you were like, hey, I understand that nutrition needs to be a part of the incoming package for new clients if we want them to see the best results possible. And we had to streamline the process and help you guys build this more scalable nutrition program.
Yeah, no doubt. So part of being an owner, and some of you guys may relate to this if you're listening in and you own a gym, is we have all these grand ideas of what we want something to look like. But if there's no systems in place and there's no systematic approach, it will weigh on us constantly. And so we're thinking about, although I know Kara is going to do a great job, I'm thinking about, well, how would I do it? And how would I follow up? And I wonder if this is going to, be done in the right order or whatever it is. And so it's really hard to create that system, though. We just kind of do it. We know how to do it. And so it's, although we had it in place, I could never rest easy knowing that all the boxes, so to speak, are being checked and everything was being delivered really, really well in an organized way.
And the truth is, it's more work on Kara because she's having to create all of this stuff behind the scenes and not spending as much time and effort client facing, right?
Exactly.
So it just takes a lot of time to create all of this. I mean, gosh, we have a full-time staff of people creating content for you guys too. So I understand the process of creating systems. It takes a lot. But one thing that's really unique about you guys is that you were a heavy macro-based nutrition coaching program, and now we're switching more towards the habits as you guys have come on board. And from a personal experience, you're seeing it because you're working with one of our dietitians on staff. So it was easy for you to understand how this is going to look from a client's perspective when you guys are delivering it in your gym.
Yeah. So major shift for us. So I come from the background of, like you're saying, really, getting into macros, digging deep, kind of looking at all the calories and doing, timing their macros around their workouts and all this super complicated stuff. That's great if you're in sport and you're training for some, extreme competition and you have to be super dialed in. But then I'm looking at our demographic, and we're serving mostly women over 40 who have a very base knowledge, understanding of nutrition, and become really overwhelmed with trying to track calories and everything else, in addition to being a busy mom and wife and having a career and all the other things. And so when I started working with you guys and just started the conversation around the habit-based, and it's very simple, and I started going through the training, I'm like, how in the world is this going to work? Like, I have worked my behind off on going deep with people on nutrition. How is this going to work? And so I was at a really interesting place in my life where I was probably in the best shape that I've ever been in years, and was feeling great. Everything was really dialed in. Workouts were in order. Just there's times in your life where just things are really ticking, and that I was there. Well, then I had a hernia surgery come up that I'd been putting off for years, and I needed to get it done. This was in November. You got to meet the deductible and all that, or try to get it in once you have the deductible. So I'm like cramming it in end of the year. So we go in, long story short, I have this surgery and I'm out of any physical activity for at least 6 weeks. And it was devastating. Like I don't do well without movement. And so I found myself overeating and I ended up gaining weight, and I kind of lost focus of, any good nutritional habits, and over time put on some weight, probably 10 or 12 pounds, and started feeling kind of sluggish and just not in my zone. Productivity was suffering, sleep was suffering. This is right in the middle of us training to launch with you guys with Healthy Steps Nutrition. And so I'm sitting there going, okay, I'm kind of in a desperate place. I'm getting ready to launch this program. Sometimes a coach needs a coach. And so I kind of went around the back door and went to your website and applied to be a coaching client, and was picked up by Amanda, and really wanted to kind of put it to the test, I guess. I was skeptical about how this would actually work. If you're just going to talk to me about some very basic habits and not really go deep, how am I going to get, a transformational experience? And so I got on the phone with her, and she's absolutely amazing, by the way.
She's literally the best dietitian I've ever met. She is awesome.
Her personality is just so she's so bubbly and just so sweet. But anyway, that's a whole other topic. So I started with her, and the main thing that we identified through the consultation, I don't want to get too far into this, but I think this would be helpful for a lot of people who maybe think like I was thinking. We did this consultation. It was very thorough. She asked me a lot of questions about lifestyle, about, current dietary habits, exercise, everything, that you can imagine basically as it relates to my health and well-being and mindset and those different types of things. And after all of that, we identified that basically what was hurting me the most was I was doing a little better with nutrition at this phase, but at night I'd gotten to a really bad habit of making a quote unquote snack. Now I would eat dinner, and then my snack started as one kashi waffle. And then it turned into a waffle with some honey. And then it was a waffle, honey, and nut butter. And then I ended up putting another waffle. And so before you know it, I had 2 waffles, nut butter, chia seeds, berries, this 800 calorie snack. And so then I'm going to bed and I'm way overfed and I'm digesting all night. I'm not sleeping well. So I'm waking up tired, and it's like I'm starting to put the pieces together on how this is spilling over into every other area of my life. And so she asked me a really good question. She said, Jay, out of all these things we've talked about, what's the one thing that you think you would like to work on that could maybe help you get traction in the right direction? And I'm like, this quote unquote snack. I know it's slowing me down, and the more we talk about it, the more I understand I need to work on this. So since then, we have created multiple other habits, and we've worked through that. But I can tell you that just that one thing seems so simple to do, but also simple not to do. But because I had her holding me accountable, here's the deal. I'm a coach. If I talk to you and I say, hey, we're going to meet again in a week or two, and we're going to talk about whether or not you're having the snack, I'm probably not going to have the snack, right? But she gave me some really good breathing, techniques and different things to do to kind of disconnect, more mindfulness than strategy.
Yep.
Like less about the calorie, more about the mindset and disconnecting. So that was for me huge, and really opened my eyes to okay, if I'm at the level that I am and have the knowledge that I have about nutrition, and simplicity like this is working for me, how well would this work for my clients who even have less knowledge? I mean, they don't need to go that deep.
It's such an interesting shift when you can realize the more simple you make your program when you're making it with your clients, easier it is for them to follow, the more successful they will be. And that success leads to motivation, right? So it's like, wow, that evening snack, just working on that one thing, but you deciding it. It wasn't like she told you, hey, we have to work on this. It's you had the autonomy of, actually, now that we're talking about it and you've shed light to some things, I think this is something that I can commit to working on. And then she's holding you accountable, right?
Yep.
I love that. And the cool thing is you're pretty open with you working with a nutrition coach, and you're able to, help Kara as she's going through the training, because it's a shift for both of you guys, right? Like all of your clients were used to macros and details. Now we're like, okay, actually, we're going to take a step back and just focus on one thing at a time. And I just want you to do this one thing really consistently. So, it's awesome that you're able to speak from experience now and really understand why focusing on one thing at a time works so well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we'll get to a place like our last meeting. I said, Amanda, I really would at some point like to check in on some of that stuff, with macros, as I feel more comfortable and I'm in a good spot.
Yep.
But for most of our people, it's just not necessary. And I think kind of where you can really mess this thing up, if you're coming from a nutrition coaching program like we've had going into something like Healthy Steps Nutrition, is if you don't position it properly and explain the reasoning and, the benefits behind approaching this at a much slower rate for sustainability and just, everything and building the confidence and everything that goes into this, you can really crash and burn. And so if you just go, hey, we're going to go from the super extreme, look at every calorie type of approach to, hey, I'm just going to have you do one really basic thing, and you don't elaborate on that, you can get into some trouble. But when we had our kickoff meeting, I shared my personal experience, which was helpful. But then I also just let people know, like, guys, listen, if we're not well hydrated, if we're not doing the very basic things, like drinking enough water, and we're eating all of our meals and we don't have any protein in them, and we're doing this, high intense interval training stuff, and we're, all these little basic, you're not sleeping well. Like, we have to get the fundamental stuff down first. And then as we progress, if, you want to go deeper and it makes sense, then maybe it's time to do that. But kind of putting the cart before the horse if you don't have the fundamental stuff done first.
And it's not people's fault that they ask you for macros, right? Like, they're following people on Instagram. They're reading different things online. Like, they're thinking macros, it's what's going to help them achieve their goals. They don't realize, actually, I might feel really overwhelmed because I don't even know what a macro is. I just know I need to meet these numbers. And then it's a frustrating experience for them. Like, hey, I want to give you something that's simple and sustainable, right? And you're 100% right. You have to explain the why and help them understand this is actually going to help you be more successful long-term. And yes, the results are going to be slow and steady, but would you rather have slow and steady results over a quick fix that you go right back and regain the weight that you worked so hard to lose?
Yeah, we've got a good advantage because we've ran challenges like a lot of gyms probably have, and we've challenged people to death. And, we meant well and we learned, but basically we ended up with a big base of clients who were yo-yoing.
Yep.
Is pretty much what it was. And so they would wait on the next challenge and they would gain all their weight up, and they would wait on the next challenge and gain all their weight back. And it drove me nuts because we want to help people, but we created that. And so when we're in our kickoff meeting and I could say, guys, how many of you guys have done a challenge? Raise your hand. How many of you have done 2? How many of you have done 3? And you're still not where you want to go. So do you see a pattern here? This is why we're switching gears and we're going in a different direction. From a business standpoint, what I was doing before, I had a program, I called it T100. It was a 100-day Transform 100 nutrition coaching program, and we went all in. There was weekly calls and all this type of stuff. It's not scalable. There's no way you're going to find people that want to go in, like coaches that want to go in like that for a long period of time with clients. It's just so much. And now I'm learning it's not even necessary.
The more simple you can make it and easy and actionable for your clients, the more success they're going to have, and the easier it is for the coach. And with the app, there's so many automations, so it's easy for Kara to manage more clients in less time. I love that you asked that question during the kickoff, and we do the same thing during our kickoffs. And it's important because you can easily connect the dots and bridge this gap by saying, hey, I'm so glad that you guys are investing your time into doing this challenge, but I don't want you to regain the weight that you worked really hard to lose, which is why we have an ongoing coaching program at the end of this challenge to continue your journey with us. So you lay the groundwork at the beginning, so you're not having to have this first conversation of let's continue on to ongoing coaching at the end of the challenge. It's too late at that point.
Yes, and we definitely communicated that, and it's good to start. At least our experience has been with a group type of challenge like we're doing, because we can let them know, hey, this is a group challenge, so you guys are going to be working on similar or the same habits as a group. But when we finish this and we get some of these fundamental things in place, you will then potentially be ready to start dialing in your specific habits. And then it kind of gives them the like, okay, yeah, this is my next step. And we actually use that language as your next step will be working with a coach individually to dial in some more, kind of get more granular on some of these other things that you specifically need to work on. I tell you this too, Nicole, during this meeting, as we're explaining this, hey, we're shifting from this kind of protocol to something more that looks like this, a lot simpler. As I went through it and I shared my story and I let them know where we were going, there was almost a sense of relief in the room, because they're like, you mean to tell me all I have to do is drink 60 ounces of water and check it off at the end of the day, or like whatever the habit is?
Yep.
You mean I don't have to like set up my Fitness Pal and go to the grocery store and try to eat from this meal plan and try to do all these? I'm like, no, literally all I want you to do is this one thing. And they're looking around at each other like, am I being punked? There's got to be more.
Am I going to be successful with this one thing? I love that you said that, because at the end of the day, people are coming to you overwhelmed, right? They have a million things. We overextend ourselves. We try to do all the things at one time to see faster results. And when we can slow down and be intentional with creating these foundational habits, you're going to be able to keep them long-term instead of feeling overwhelmed at the end of a challenge and going right back to where you started.
Yeah, for sure.
I love that.
It's an easier sale too on the front end.
Oh, for sure. Hey, I personally have a goal when I talk to clients. I want them to say, that's it. That's all you want me to do. I'm like, yeah, that's it. Just do that thing and then prove to me you're going to be super consistent. And then we'll add the next thing to the plate. And when you can keep it simple, again, your clients will be so much more successful. Jay, I want to talk about one thing, because I have no doubt that you guys will be so successful with nutrition, and it starts because of you. And you are the leader of your tribe. You're bought into your nutrition program, not only from a coaching standpoint, but also from a client standpoint. You can speak from experience. What would you say to gym owners who, and I would almost say this happened when we first launched HSN Mentoring, like gym owners would sign up for their coaches to go through the training and then say, all right, it's your program, go run with it. Like, you have to be involved.
But it's so tempting to do that because gym owners are overwhelmed, and we put someone in a nutrition position to delegate and hopefully take some of that overwhelm away.
Yeah.
So you guys have done it. I'll put it this way. If it wasn't for the way that you set up the program, I probably would have done the same thing, just to be totally transparent. I mean, I want to be involved. I want to know every aspect of my business.
Yeah.
But when we took this on, as soon as we signed up with you guys, I lost my head trainer. So we moved from large group to small group model, totally shifted our model during COVID, which was a major, like, prices doubled and tripled. Like, it was a major undertaking. We built all of this around our head trainer, and then we lost him. And so my business was literally in shambles. Like, we didn't know what we were going to do, how we were going to pull this together. The last thing I wanted to do, truthfully, is focus on training with nutrition.
Yeah.
Okay. But you guys have figured out that if you don't include the owner, there's going to be more overwhelm afterwards. Because remember, I'll be back in the same position I was in before, not really understanding the process that clients are going through. Therefore, I can't put it to rest. And so I'm still thinking about it. I'm still wondering how Kara's doing it. How is it working? Are we doing as much as we can do? So you guys have built in like a really strong emphasis on having the owner involved. And now I see the value of that because I understand we're speaking the same language, Kara and I. When a client comes to me asking me something, I already know pretty much what Kara's going to tell them. Kara knows what I would tell them. And I'm in the app, so I can see everything. We've gone through the same training. I would not have wanted to do this now, knowing what I know, I would not have wanted to do this without being as involved as I was and going through all the training and just letting my nutrition coach do it.
I heard about you losing your coach, and I cannot imagine the overwhelm of trying to go through our training and trying to deal with everything else. So thank you for trusting us and just staying, with the path to be involved. But after training thousands of gym owners and coaches and helping gyms launch their programs, I know that if owners are bought into the program, the coach is going to feel supported. And when the coach feels supported, you're setting that program up for success rather than just saying the nutrition program's your thing, go ahead and deal with it. There are things that you have to be involved with. When you guys are expanding into corporate wellness and doing different partnerships, you have to be involved at some level as a gym owner. You don't have to do the day-to-day, but you do need to be able to support the owner and for your staff, right? The rest of your staff understands the importance because it starts with you, right?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, we ultimately are the leaders of our business, and my staff knowing that I hired you guys to coach me nutritionally is a big deal. Like, they know I know what to do, but like I explained to them in a meeting, I said, guys, it's not about the what. It's about the accountability. It's about seeing blind spots. It's paying for speed, right? And so I do that in every aspect of my business. But yeah, I mean, it's huge that we do that. And guys, this training, when we started this, I looked at this as like, I got to get through this training. Like when we start new things and there's some type of,
I get it.
I gotta do these modules, type of thing. But this is really legit training. Like, I don't care where you're at on the spectrum of knowledge, you're gonna learn some really valuable things. And so I would encourage you to be excited about it because you will come out on the other end, not just knowing the protocols and how to run the program, but you will be a better nutrition coach.
And business owner. Like, our goal is that you're running a successful nutrition business that really translates into other things too, right? Like, I know you guys are working on some social media stuff and doing other things to not only help just the nutrition side, but help all aspects of your business. And the cool thing is once you guys continue to grow your nutrition program, you're going to start getting nutrition only clients that eventually will turn into nutrition and fitness clients. Like, it happens all the time, which is amazing.
Yeah, I can totally see that. For sure. Well, I was shocked too, Nicole. I want to add this. When you and I did our call, we actually did 2 calls. Mm-hmm. We did one a couple years ago, I believe, and then we did one more recently. And the question for me as the buyer is, what am I going to get? Right? I think we all want to know that. Like, is this worth the investment? How is this going to make my life easier? Are you just going to tell me how to run a challenge? Like, and in your seat, you could never have explained to me what we were going to get with all the additional training, all the additional support, like when we started opening this thing up, I'm like, holy smokes, like they put some work into this. But there's always the fear of like, am I going to buy into this thing and they're going to tell me something I already know, and it's going to be a new little spin on how to run a challenge. And so if you're considering partnering with Healthy Steps Nutrition, what I will tell you is Nicole's in a tough position to be able to explain to you what you're actually going to get. But what I will tell you is it's a lot, and it's far and above what we thought. I mean, the marketing side, there's just so much in there that she's not going to be able to unpack in a discovery call.
Well, thank you. And, our true goal is to help make nutrition and building a nutrition program easy so that you guys can help more people. And, you guys have wholeheartedly trusted us to help you, and we are 100% committed to your success. That's for sure. Jay, you as an owner are so bought in. What would you say to a gym owner that's, maybe they have a nutrition program, not using us, maybe they have their own nutrition program? What would you say to them the value is even signing up for your own nutrition program with your own coach?
Yeah, so I can only speak for my experience, but where I was at in my business before we started this was I had a really deep disconnect between what I knew was important, which is nutrition, changing people's nutritional habits, and what we were able to successfully deliver and scale. And again, we tried all the things that you can imagine, selling it on the front end, selling it on the back end, doing it for 1 month, doing it for 3 months, doing it as a challenge, doing it as a revolving, type of deal. I mean, everything you could imagine that I could pull together in the fitness industry from people that were doing nutrition, we tried that. And for me, it ended in me being overwhelmed even more and a really inconsistent experience for my clients, which, never helps. So what this has done for us is it's just given us much more clarity on what a successful program can look like and how to duplicate it and run it systematically over and over and over again. And we can now bring in more clients at one time and service those clients with integrity and knowing that we're going to be able to do what we say we're going to do, because we've all done this. If you're in the gym business and you haven't done this, well, I'll buy you lunch, but you probably have. You sit across your desk and you tell the client all your intentions. I'm going to follow up with you and I'm going to check in with you and I'm going to help you and I'm going to give you this and deliver this. And then they leave the office and life happens and you go about running the business and you fail to do a lot of those things. That was most prominent in our nutrition coaching practice. So from the business standpoint, we have a much more systematic approach that myself and my staff all have confidence in because it's simple.
Yep.
And then from a personal, my personal experience, like I'm really digging the simple habit-based type of approach because with everything that I have going on, I can manage it and I can build on it. Yeah, which is really cool.
That's amazing. And being able to speak from experience, but also now having the education side of understanding what's behind and what the gold standard looks like is going to ensure that your program stays consistent. And in a gym setting, it's so important because your clients talk to each other, right? And especially as you add more coaches, like Kara's only going to be able to help so many people. At some point, you're going to have to add another nutrition coach. You want to ensure a consistent experience between Kara and this future new coach. Right?
No doubt. And I'll tell you, Amanda, she ran the play. I mean, like, she is fantastic. I mean, all the stuff, as we're going through the training, I'm like, she's doing it. She's doing it.
Yo, Amanda is amazing. Amanda is definitely a rock star dietitian, and everyone needs an Amanda for sure. And I'm positive that Kara is going to be your Amanda. And you'll just continue to replicate the program to be able to help more people, members, and other people in your community that are maybe not interested in fitness, but are looking for nutrition support.
Yeah. So the takeaway is she's literally running the play that you have in place. Like, and that's available to all of us. And it's a systematic approach that anyone could take if they just plug in and learn it. And so it's been really cool to watch her and then go through the training and be like, oh, this is the part that we're at. And she's like, she's literally running the play. It's awesome.
I love that. Well, that's good. Thank you so much for trusting us and helping you build a successful program. I think the biggest takeaway here from gym owners listening to this is you have to be involved with your nutrition program, not necessarily the day-to-day, but you need to understand the fundamentals and what the gold standard looks like. So, from our standpoint, that's why we require owners to go through the training. But as an owner, consider signing up for nutrition coaching yourself, whether it be with one of the gyms running our program, maybe it's Jay's nutrition coach, or with your own program to see what does it look like from a client's perspective. And when you can see that, you can understand what you need to improve and how to become better and provide a exceptional experience for your clients.
Yeah, I highly recommend that. In fact, you might consider putting that as a requirement on the front end. Hey, coaches have to go through training and they have to do nutrition coaching.
You know what? It was an interesting conversation with our core team. They said, Nicole, I can tell the people that are getting coached by HQ, like as they're going through the training, I can tell the ones because they're so much better at understanding how we actually deliver the service because they're going through it themselves. So I will tell you, it has been a conversation with our core team. Like, should we require this? Should we not? Like, what should be the situation here?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks again. And congratulations. You guys are officially launching your program. You're already in a challenge right now, but you guys are going to be able to help so many people getting them started on nutrition and fitness on day one, maybe even re-engaging some past clients that you've had just with nutrition coaching with Kara and eventually getting them over to fitness. But there's so many people in your community that need help with nutrition. And now we're excited to be able to partner with you to help you deliver that program.
No doubt. Us too.
Jay will build a thriving nutrition program in his gym. I'm 1000% confident. He understands the value of a nutrition coach because he can speak from experience. But the truth is, this isn't just the case for him. We've had over a dozen nutrition coaches in the past 6 months get coached by our dietitians and nutrition coaches at Healthy Steps Nutrition HQ. They have all done an exceptional job being able to take their experience and apply it to their clients and grow their own nutrition programs. At the end of the day, it's easier to speak from experience. You might be thinking, Nicole, I get it. This makes sense. What do I do now? Well, if you are a gym owner listening to this, I suggest that you sign up for your nutrition coaching program and get coached by your nutrition coach. Maybe you think, oh my gosh, this is amazing and it's a great experience. Or maybe you find out there are some gaps in the process and you need to refine and tweak your nutrition coaching program. If you don't have a nutrition coaching program in your gym and you want to build one, get coached by us. See what it looks like from a client's perspective. You can go to healthystepsnutrition.com and apply for nutrition coaching, or you can go to our nutrition coach directory, hireanutritioncoach.com, and find a Healthy Steps nutrition coach near you, one of the gyms running our nutrition program. If you have a person that's doing the free intros, they need to be familiar with your nutrition program. Maybe it's you as the owner, maybe it's a nutrition coach, maybe it's a third person. And if it is a third person, I highly encourage you to have them sign up for your nutrition coaching program. The next question is, do they pay? I do think that there is an importance with being financially invested with something. You're going to put more effort into it. But if you're just launching a program, maybe you just do some practice and test clients with some of your coaches or your free intro person. At HSN HQ, if we have a CrossFit coach that wants to get coached by nutrition, or one of our fellow nutrition coaches at Healthy Steps Nutrition HQ wants to hire a dietitian, they just pay the amount that we are paying the coach. So the gym doesn't make money off of it, but we're able to pay the coach and we're not losing money on them doing nutrition coaching. At the end of the day, I hope this inspires someone to take action and really become more invested in your nutrition program so that you can speak from experience and at the end of the day, grow your nutrition program. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Did you subscribe to the podcast yet? Next week, we are talking about how to identify a great fit to help you run your nutrition program. And I have a really awesome announcement for all CrossFit Level 3 and Level 4 trainers at the end of next week's episode. So make sure you tune back in next week and follow our Instagram page at growyournutritionbusiness.com for a sneak peek of the announcement. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Please rate and review this podcast so that we can share this free help with more people. Have a great week.